Donald Trump's presidency brought a dramatic shift in U.S. trade policy, one that still echoes across the global economy. At the center of this shift were tariffs on imported goods from countries like China, Canada, and the European Union. But what exactly were these tariffs meant to do? Did they protect American industries, or did they spark a costly global trade war? To understand their true impact, we need to start from the basics. What are tariffs? Tariffs are government-imposed taxes on imported goods. The purpose is simple: make foreign products more expensive, so that consumers prefer local alternatives. Trump used this tool aggressively, arguing it would rebalance unfair trade relationships, particularly with China. But to understand how this strategy unfolded, we need to look at how these tariffs were introduced and escalated over time. The tariff timeline in 2018. Trump launched his first wave of tariffs, 25% on steel and 10% on aluminum imports. This was just the beginning. Soon after, the U.S. imposed tariffs on over $360 billion worth of Chinese goods, citing unfair subsidies, intellectual property theft, and currency manipulation. Naturally, other countries retaliated. This set the stage for a global trade standoff, one that deeply impacted the U.S. economy. Domestic economic impact. While Trump's goal was to protect American industries, the economic impact at home was more complicated. Yes, some steel and aluminum producers benefited briefly, but downstream industries, manufacturers, retailers, and farmers faced rising costs. Many U.S. businesses delayed investments, and consumers saw higher prices on everyday goods. Most notably, American farmers, particularly soybean producers, were hit hard when China retaliated. This forced the U.S. government to step in with billions of dollars in subsidies. And that brings us to how the world responded to this growing trade conflict. Global reaction: America's closest allies, Canada, Mexico, and the EU, were not spared. In response to Trump's tariffs, they imposed their own duties on American goods such as whiskey, motorcycles, and pork. The World Trade Organization received multiple complaints, challenging the legality of U.S. actions. Meanwhile, China started sourcing its goods elsewhere, turning to countries like Brazil for soybeans. This reshaped global trade routes and created opportunities for America's competitors. And while the world adapted, the U.S. began to feel deeper economic consequences. Long-term economic and political consequences. The long-term effects began to take hold. According to economists, Trump's tariffs led to reduced GDP growth and an estimated loss of nearly 300,000 jobs. Global supply chains became more fragmented, and uncertainty caused hesitation in corporate investments. Politically, America's leadership in global trade was questioned. And yet many of these tariffs remain in place, leading us to the current state of U.S. trade under new leadership, where we stand today. Under President Biden, some adjustments have been made. Most tariffs, especially on Chinese goods, are still intact. U.S.-China trade relations remain tense, and businesses continue to bear the costs. At the same time, more countries are now pursuing bilateral and regional trade agreements, shaping the global economic landscape. This ongoing evolution brings us back to the core question: were the tariffs worth it? Trump's tariffs were a bold, disruptive move aimed at economic nationalism. They highlighted genuine issues in the global trade system, especially with China. But they also triggered retaliatory actions, hurt key U.S. industries, and increased costs for everyday Americans. Whether you view them as a necessary correction or a costly miscalculation, one thing is clear: tariffs are powerful tools, but without careful strategy and global cooperation, they can backfire. As the world moves toward new trade alliances and supply chain models, the lessons of this tariff war will shape policy for years to come. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments.